Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are becoming someone. Not someday, not in the future, right now in this very moment. The person you will be 5 years from now is not being created by one big decision. It is being created by thousands of small decisions. The choices nobody sees, the habits nobody applauds, the actions that seem insignificant at the time. Most people spend their lives focused on outcomes. They want success, confidence, discipline, freedom, and fulfillment. But very few people stop to ask a more important question: who am I becoming? Because every action is a vote. Every habit is a vote. Every decision is a vote. You are constantly voting for the person you will eventually become. When you wake up and choose discipline over excuses, you cast a vote. When you avoid responsibility, you cast a vote. When you work toward your goals, you cast a vote. When you delay action, you cast a vote. The question is not whether you are becoming someone. The question is, who are you becoming? This is what makes life so powerful and so dangerous at the same time. The changes happening inside you are often invisible. You do not notice them immediately, just as you do not notice a tree growing every day or a building aging every day. Transformation happens quietly, one choice at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. Then one day you look in the mirror and realize you have become someone you never intended to be. Or perhaps someone you worked very hard to become. The scary thing about life is that nobody remains neutral. You are either growing or declining, moving forward or moving backward, becoming stronger or becoming weaker. Life never stands still, and neither do you. Many people assume they can postpone growth. They believe they can waste years and simply decide to change later. But every day spent living below your potential changes you. It shapes your identity, influences your beliefs, and affects your standards. Over time, those things become your reality. That is why the most important question you can ask yourself today is not, "What do I want?" but rather, "Who am I becoming?" Because the answer to that question will determine everything else. Your future, your relationships, your confidence, your opportunities, your success, and ultimately the quality of your life. Most people wait until they are unhappy before asking these questions. They wait until regret appears, opportunities disappear, and years have passed. But the wise person asks early. The wise person understands that today's habits are tomorrow's identity. Today's actions are tomorrow's reality. And today's decisions are creating tomorrow's life. Whether you realize it or not, that process is happening right now. The future version of you is being built today, not tomorrow, not next year, but today. The question is simple. Will that future version thank you? Or will that future version wish you had started sooner? Most people underestimate the power of repetition. They believe their lives are shaped by big decisions. The decision to start a business, the decision to move to a new city, the decision to pursue a dream. Those decisions matter, but they are not what shape you the most. What shapes you the most are the things you do repeatedly. Repetition creates identity. Think about it. Nobody becomes confident overnight. Nobody becomes disciplined overnight. Nobody becomes successful overnight. Those things are built through repeated actions, repeated choices, and repeated behaviors. The person you are today is the result of what you have repeatedly done. Your habits have shaped your character. Your routines have shaped your mindset. Your actions have shaped your identity. That is why habits are so powerful. They are not just things you do. They are things that slowly become part of who you are. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen the identity of a disciplined person. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen the identity of someone who can be trusted. Every time you face discomfort instead of avoiding it, you strengthen the identity of someone who is resilient. The opposite is also true. Every excuse repeated becomes easier to make. Every responsibility avoided becomes easier to avoid. Every standard lowered becomes easier to accept. What begins as a choice eventually becomes a pattern. What becomes a pattern eventually becomes an identity. That is why many people feel trapped. Not because they are incapable of change, but because they have practiced being the same person for so long. They have repeated the same thoughts, the same behaviors, the same excuses, and the same routines until those things feel permanent. But they are not permanent. Identity is not fixed. It is built. And anything that is built can be rebuilt. The problem is that most people focus on changing their results instead of changing their habits. They want a different life without becoming a different person. They want confidence without courageous actions. They want success without disciplined behavior. They want change without transformation. Life does not work that way. The outcomes you desire are usually connected to the person you are becoming. If you want different results, you must create different patterns. If you want a different future, you must create a different identity. The good news is that change does not require a dramatic transformation overnight. It starts with something much smaller. A single decision, a single habit, a single action repeated consistently. That is how powerful people are built. That is how strong character is formed. That is how extraordinary lives are created. Not through one massive breakthrough, but through small choices repeated over time. The world celebrates the finished product. The successful entrepreneur, the disciplined athlete, the confident leader. But what the world rarely sees are the thousands of repetitions behind the scenes, the early mornings, the difficult days, the moments when nobody was watching, the moments when quitting would have been easier. Those repetitions became identity, and that identity eventually became reality. The question is not what you do once. The question is what you practice every day. Because whatever you practice, you become better at. If you practice excuses, you become skilled at avoiding responsibility. If you practice procrastination, you become skilled at delaying action. If you practice discipline, you become skilled at keeping promises to yourself. Life is constantly asking the same question. What are you practicing? Because whatever you practice today is shaping who you become tomorrow. And whether you realize it or not, you are always practicing something. The only question is whether it is building the future you want or pulling you further away from it. One of the greatest dangers in life is not failure. It is drifting. Drifting happens when you stop paying attention. When days begin to blend together, when routines become automatic, when you live without intention. Most people do not wake up one day and decide to waste their potential. It happens gradually. A little less effort, a little more comfort, a little more delay, a little less discipline. The changes seem small, almost invisible. But over time, those small changes create a completely different destination. Imagine a ship leaving a harbor. If the captain changes direction by only a few degrees, nobody notices at first. The ship still looks like it is heading in the right direction. But after enough time, it arrives somewhere completely different. Life works the same way. Small choices may seem insignificant today, but years later they become your reality. This is why unconscious living is so dangerous. When you stop choosing your direction, circumstances choose it for you. When you stop designing your future, habits design it for you. When you stop growing intentionally, you begin changing accidentally. And accidental growth rarely leads to extraordinary results. The truth is simple. The life you have tomorrow is being created by the habits you practice today. Not your intentions, not your wishes, not your goals, your habits. Many people have good intentions. They want to become healthier. They want to become disciplined. They want to become successful. They want to become stronger. But intentions without action change nothing. A dream without effort remains a dream. A goal without commitment remains a fantasy. The person you become depends on what you do consistently, not what you hope for occasionally. That is why awareness is so important. You must become conscious of the person you are becoming. You must pay attention to your patterns, your habits, your thoughts, and your standards, because if you do not direct them, they will direct you. And before you know it, years will have passed. Not because life moved too fast, but because you moved through it without intention. Now imagine meeting yourself 10 years from today. Not the version you wish to become, the version your current habits are creating. What would that person look like? How would that person think? How would that person live? Would they be proud of the choices you are making today? Would they thank you for your discipline? Would they thank you for your courage? Would they thank you for your commitment to growth? Or would they wish you had taken action sooner? That question is uncomfortable, but it is important. Because your future self is not a stranger. It is you. The future is not some distant place. It is the destination your daily choices are leading toward. And every day you are moving closer to it, whether you realize it or not. The beautiful thing about life is that change is always possible. You are not trapped by your past. You are not limited by yesterday's mistakes. You are not defined by the person you used to be. You can choose a different direction. You can create new habits. You can raise your standards. You can become someone stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more capable. But that transformation begins with awareness. It begins by asking one simple question. Who am I becoming? Not who do I want to be. Not who do I pretend to be. Who am I actually becoming through my daily actions? Because actions reveal the truth. Your habits reveal the truth. Your consistency reveals the truth. The answer may be uncomfortable, but it is also empowering, because once you become aware of your direction, you gain the ability to change it. That is where growth begins. That is where transformation begins. That is where a better future begins. So pay attention to your habits. Pay attention to your standards. Pay attention to your daily choices, because they are writing the story of your life, one decision at a time, one day at a time, and one habit at a time. Years from now, when you look back at the person you became, you will realize something powerful. Your future was never created in a single moment. It was created in the ordinary choices nobody noticed, including you. So choose wisely. Choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose awareness. Choose the person you want to become. Because every day, whether you realize it or not, you are becoming someone. Make sure it is someone you will be proud to meet. Time is strange. When you are young, it feels endless. You believe there will always be another opportunity, another year, another chance, and another tomorrow. But the older you become, the more you realize how quickly life moves. The days feel long, but the years feel short. One moment you are planning your future. The next moment you are wondering where the time went. That is why becoming the right person matters so much. Because whether you are paying attention or not, the future is coming. Every sunrise brings it closer. Every sunset removes another day from your life. The question is not whether time is moving. The question is whether you are moving with it. Many people assume they have plenty of time to become who they want to be. So they postpone growth. They postpone discipline. They postpone responsibility. They postpone action, not realizing that every delay is shaping their future. The frightening thing about time is that it never announces its departure. You do not notice a wasted week. You barely notice a wasted month. Sometimes you do not even notice a wasted year. Then one day you wake up and realize years have disappeared. Along with them, opportunities disappear. Possibilities disappear. Moments that can never be recovered disappear. This is why awareness matters. Not because life is short, but because life is precious. Every day is an investment. Every habit is an investment. Every decision is an investment. You are constantly investing in the person you will become. The question is whether you like the return you are creating. Imagine two versions of yourself standing before you. The first version chose growth. They embraced discomfort. They built discipline. They developed skills. They kept promises to themselves. They became stronger with every challenge. Now look at the second version. This version chose convenience, avoided responsibility, delayed action, ignored opportunities, repeated excuses, stayed comfortable. Both versions started from the same place. The only difference was their daily choices. Now ask yourself a difficult question. Which version are your habits creating? Because the future is not built by intentions. It is built by actions. And actions repeated long enough become identity. One day, you will meet the person your habits created. The question is whether that meeting will fill you with pride or regret. The good news is that you do not need to become perfect. You do not need to transform overnight. You only need to become a little better than yesterday. A little stronger. A little wiser. A little more disciplined. A little more intentional. Because greatness is rarely built in giant leaps. It is built in small improvements repeated consistently. The future is arriving faster than you think. Do not wait until regret becomes your teacher. Learn the lesson now. Become intentional. Become aware. Become responsible for the direction of your life. Because every day you are becoming someone. And one day, that someone will be all that remains of the choices you make today. Make those choices count. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Protect your future. Because nobody can live your life for you. Nobody can make your decisions for you. Nobody can become the person you were meant to become except you. The future is coming. The only question is whether you will be ready when it arrives. At some point, every person reaches a moment of truth. A moment when they can no longer pretend. A moment when excuses stopped working. A moment when they must decide who they are going to become. Perhaps that moment is today. Perhaps that moment is right now. Because after everything you have heard, there is only one question left. What will you do with this information? Knowledge alone changes nothing. Understanding alone changes nothing. Awareness alone changes nothing. A person can watch hundreds of motivational videos and remain exactly the same. A person can read hundreds of books and remain exactly the same. A person can know exactly what to do and still never do it. Why? Because information does not create transformation. Action does. The world is filled with people who know, but it is transformed by people who act. The difference between the life you want and the life you have is often hidden inside the actions you avoid, the difficult conversation, the early morning, the uncomfortable decision, the responsibility you keep postponing, the challenge you keep avoiding. Growth lives there, not in comfort, not in convenience, not in waiting. Growth lives on the other side of action. And the beautiful thing is that your life does not change when you reach a destination. It changes the moment you choose a direction, the moment you decide to become intentional, the moment you stop drifting, the moment you stop waiting, the moment you take responsibility for who you are becoming. That is where transformation begins. Not next year, not next month, not tomorrow, today, right now. Because every great life is built the same way. One decision, one action, one habit, repeated consistently. You do not need to change everything overnight. You only need to take the next step, then the next one, then the next one. And before you know it, the person you once dreamed of becoming starts becoming real. Not because of luck, not because of talent, but because you made a decision and stayed committed to it. So before this chapter of your life ends, ask yourself one final question. If I continue living exactly the way I am living today, who will I become? And if that answer makes you uncomfortable, do something about it. Do not wait. Do not delay. Do not tell yourself that you will start later. Later is where dreams are postponed. Later is where opportunities disappear. Later is where unrealized potential hides. Choose now. Choose growth. Choose awareness. Choose discipline. Choose responsibility. Choose the future. Because every day you are becoming someone. Every habit is shaping someone. Every decision is creating someone. Make sure that person is someone you will be proud of. Years from now, when you look back at this moment, you will either be grateful that you acted or regret that you waited. The choice has always been yours, and the future is built by the choices you make today. So choose wisely. Choose courage. Choose action. Choose the person you were meant to become. There is a thought that has haunted human beings for generations. A thought so powerful that once it enters your mind, it becomes difficult to ignore. What if the greatest tragedy in life is not failure? What if the greatest tragedy is never becoming who you were capable of becoming? Think about that for a moment. Somewhere within you exists a better version of yourself. A version that is stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more courageous. A version that took the risks you were afraid to take. A version that kept going when things became difficult. A version that refused to settle for less than what was possible. That version of you is real, not perfect, not flawless, but possible. The tragedy is that many people spend their entire lives moving further away from that person, not because they lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack potential, but because they never fully committed to becoming who they could be. Years pass, opportunities disappear, dreams fade, and eventually many people find themselves looking backward instead of forward, wondering what might have happened if they had tried, wondering what might have happened if they had started sooner, wondering what might have happened if they had believed in themselves. That is the pain of unrealized potential, not the pain of failure, the pain of possibility, the pain of knowing there was more inside you, more strength, more courage, more growth, more life, but never fully discovering it. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing you spent decades waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty, waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect moment, only to discover that the perfect moment never arrived Because the perfect moment was never something you were supposed to find. It was something you were supposed to create. The future you want is not waiting somewhere ahead of you. It is being built by the choices you make today, right now, in this moment. Every habit, every action, every decision, you are either building the life you want or drifting further away from it. There is no neutral ground. There is no standing still. Every day is shaping you. Every day is changing you. Every day is turning you into someone. The question is whether that person is moving closer to your potential or further away from it. One day you will look back on this chapter of your life. One day it will become a memory, a story, a turning point, or a missed opportunity. The choice is yours. You can continue repeating the same patterns. You can continue delaying change. You can continue waiting. Or you can decide that today matters, that your future matters, that the person you are becoming matters. Because at the end of the day, success is not just about money. It is not just about achievement. It is not just about recognition. True success is becoming the person you were capable of becoming, knowing that you gave your best effort, knowing that you answered the call of your potential, knowing that you did not allow fear to make your decisions. That is a life worth living. That is a life worth fighting for. And that journey begins with a simple choice. The choice to become intentional. The choice to become aware. The choice to become better than you were yesterday. Because every day you are becoming someone. Do not waste that opportunity. Do not waste that gift. Do not waste your potential. The future version of you is waiting. Make sure they are proud of the person you decide to become. One day, when you look back at your life, you will not remember every ordinary day, but you will remember the day you decided to change, the day you stopped drifting, the day you stopped waiting, the day you chose growth over comfort, the day you chose action over excuses, the day you took responsibility for your future. Maybe that day is today. Maybe this is the moment. Because every day you are becoming someone. Make sure it is someone you will be proud to meet. This is the inner work. Success begins from the inside.